Hello and welcome to English 2. I'm your online teacher, Miss Bear. We have been working on a common lit unit about the fashion industry. At the end of our unit, we will be doing an expository research essay, and so I hope that you are enjoying this as much as I am and that you really dug into the previous lesson about primary sources. So again, this is part of the Common Lit 360 curriculum, and I do want to talk for just a quick second about this 360 curriculum. So there's a free version that teachers can get, but then there's also a paid version that districts or schools can invest in. And I will say that the paid version does include some tests. It includes some additional resources that you don't get in the free version, but it also comes with support. So Common Lit has a phenomenal team that will come and train your teachers in how to appropriately use the Common Lit 360 curriculum in a way that's going to be best for your school and your district. And then there's a way that they have all of this data that they can provide to your school and your district. So consider the paid for version because it is well worth it. Okay, so let's dig into that research question. Francis Cabot Lowell had a utopian vision for a factory that would make profits for the owners while also improving the lives of the workers. What was his vision? And to what extent has his vision been realized since its inception? Today, we are going to be looking at Letters from the Mill Girls, Part 1. These letters are from women who worked in the Lowell mills. They give you guys, students, an intimate understanding of the hope and experiences of these workers. As you guys read, you will annotate the text to support in determining the writer's point of view or what the writer's purpose is. And you guys learned how to do that in the previous lesson about primary sources. So what are we going to learn today? So let's look at this ad. Ads like this incentivized women to work in the mills. You can see that they were looking for 75 young women from 15 to 35 years of age to work in those cotton mills. This is an actual ad at that time. And so women who were working in the mills wrote letters home to keep their families and friends up to date on their lives. And you can see one of those letters on the screen in front of you. Now, I will say most people in your age range are not going to be able to read that because that is in a very intense cursive writing. And some of you are trained in how to write in cursive and how to read cursive writing, but you might not be. So these texts have taken those primary sources and put them into a primary text in a way that you can read it. So I want to talk about the letters. They give us a glimpse into why these women chose to work in the mills. So what is the setting of the story? We're going to read letters written by two women, Mary Paul and Lucy Ann. The last name of that person is unknown. So let's talk for a second. If you were to get a job today, what would you do with your money? Raise your hand and share your answers. All right, some of you had some really good responses. Some of you would love to go get a job and help your parents with some of the bills. Some of you are like, my money, I'm going to spend it on what I want. I'm going to get this and I'm going to get that. Some of you said that you would save for a car. I heard lots of different, very good reasons. A lot of these women worked in order to bring home additional income to their families to pay for the things that their families needed. So as we read, I want you to think about these women ages 15 to 35 and why they would have worked in these specific conditions that they talk about. So as we read skill-wise, I want you to make sure that you are annotating this primary text to determine the point of view or purpose. And just as you know, Common Lit does a phenomenal job to help lead you to those answers and lead you to that point of view or purpose. And I also want to remind you that these are primary documents. These are first-hand accounts in the form of letters. So when we study a primary source, we will ask, who created this artifact? You already have that answer. What do we know about this person or these people? You're going to have those answers a little bit as we read. And then, who is the intended audience for this artifact? Well, they've already told you that these were letters that were written home. So how did the context most likely affect the content of the artifact? Those are some of the questions that you will need to be thinking about. So you should have a copy of Letters from Mill Girls, Part 1, and you will see that it starts with independent reading and it ends with independent reading. This entire text is designed for you to read independently. So as you finish, I want you to go ahead and answer those text-dependent questions about the Lowell girls. So I'm going to pause here in order for you to read the text and answer those questions. Great job. Now I want you to flip your packet and you will see some discussion questions. And remember, we talked about in these discussion questions that it will show you in the little circle at the top of your paper that this is a partner activity. And so I want you to find a partner and answer the questions, talk about them, and then answer them on your paper. Great job. Some of you were really talking a long time about those, and that's good that you do some deep discussion, but it's also good that you make sure that you're writing those responses down. All right, lastly, we are going to do that research note-taking graphic organizer. Now, you might have to flip back a couple of pages in your text in order to find that, but that is going to be done independently. So I'm going to pause here so that you can complete that activity independently. All right, that is all for today. Until next time, happy learning.